I interviewed my 5 oldest patients to discover the secrets they had to living such long and healthy lives. In today's video, I'm going to reveal those longevity secrets to you, so hopefully you can apply them to your own life. My 5 oldest patients have an average age of 92 years old. 3 of them are men, 2 of them are women, and they're all fit, active, and mobile despite being in their 90s. I wanted to find out exactly how they stayed active and mobile for so long. The first longevity secret was a daily habit of physical activity. Now, this is by far the most obvious one of the secrets I discovered, because exercise and activity has been linked so many times to long and healthy lives. The people I interviewed, my 5 oldest patients, all had some kind of daily activity they were a part of. It might have been an exercise class or a home workout. Some of them even still played golf, and many of them had a daily walking habit. One of the things that stood out to me is they made sure to keep moving even when it felt hard. It took something really major to happen for them to skip a day of exercise. Now, almost all of the people I spoke to told me how difficult it is to get back into exercise after a long period of rest, and they almost all had a story of a spouse or a family member who did just that and then never got back into their exercise. Having that fear hanging over them seemed to be a big motivator to never skip a day unless something really serious went on. The second longevity secret that my patients had for me was to stay curious. Now, this is slightly less obvious than the previous one, but all of the patients I spoke to had remained curious in some way. They were eager to meet new people and find out things about those people. They loved new experiences, and they were never scared to try new things. 2 out of the 5 people were attending the University of the Third Age and trying to learn a new skill. 1 out of the 5 had just picked up a new hobby, which was bridge. And then the other 2 both told me about new friends they'd made in just the last couple of months. They also all stayed playful. They played in some way. They would joke, they would smile, they would try new things, and they weren't afraid to be bad at something the first time they tried it. A sense of humor seemed to be key, and none of them were scared at having a giggle at themselves at their own expense. The third longevity secret that my patients had for me was to sleep well, but not too much. Now, it's really interesting that the average duration of sleep between those 5 people was 7 hours per night. And there's some really fascinating research that's come out recently, which shows that even though most people believe we need less sleep as we get older, we actually need the same amount of sleep throughout our lives. Somewhere in the region of 7 to 9 hours tends to work really well for health. One of the peculiar things that happens in the research is that people who sleep for longer than 9 hours actually see drops in their health outcomes over time, which means that more sleep is only better up to a point. Now, my oldest patients all had a couple of things in common. They had very consistent sleep and wake up times, and they tried to stick with it as much as they could. And they also allowed themselves to have naps if they felt particularly tired, but they didn't let those naps last all afternoon. Now, if you're interested in improving your sleep, I've got a whole lesson dedicated to that topic inside Lifelong Mobility, which is my library of videos designed to help you improve your health over the age of 50. You can find a link to that in the description box below this video. The fourth longevity secret was spending time in nature. All of the 5 people I spoke to valued their time spent outdoors. They either walked regularly or had a gardening habit, or even just made a habit of going and sitting on a park bench and watching the world go by. And this reminded me of a study I read recently, which showed that stress was associated with how much time you spend outdoors and where you spent that time. People who spent time in an urban environment outdoors had the highest level of stress, Those who walked in green spaces had significantly less stress, but those who walked near water had the lowest stress of all. So it seems that being around water does something especially good to the mind. Now, if you don't have any waterscapes nearby, walking outside in greenery is also really good for the mind. And this is something that my patients did frequently. The fifth and final longevity secret of my 5 oldest patients was to stay faithful to your routine. A simple ritual like an evening cup of tea, a daily walk, or a commitment to do something in the garden every day went a long way to keeping my patients healthy over time. I believe that you can find significant mental and physical grounding when you stick to a routine. When life gets tough, you can fall back to the comfort of a routine to find your feet again. Routines can also keep you moving, keep your social life busy, and get you outside even when you don't feel like it. The key part of my patients' routines is that they were simple and easy to stick with even when life was tough. If we pick a routine that's too hard to stick to when we're super busy or when life becomes difficult, we won't stick to it. But if it's something very simple that only takes a few minutes per day, you've got a much better chance of sticking with it even when life is difficult. So those are the excellent secrets I learnt from my 5 oldest patients. Did you find them useful? I hope you found something new in today's video. If you have, do drop a comment below and let us know. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.